Hi, I'm sure by now you're aware of the adverse effects of poor posture. But what exactly is posture, and how would the so-called bad posture lead to back pain? We also know that muscle imbalances is one of the most common causes of musculoskeletal pain. But how does it actually lead to lower back pain? So first of all, what is muscle imbalance? Put it simply, when muscle is stronger on one side than the other side, you have muscle imbalance. Muscle imbalances lead to muscle dysfunction. Basically, it means that there is no pathology, but the muscle is not contracting properly or applying the right amount of force during contraction. The most basic unit of a muscle is the muscle cell, which is known as the myofibril. Muscle contraction begins with the two contractile proteins, myosin and actin. During muscle contraction, the myosin head attach themselves to the actin filament. Pulling on these filaments, this is the sliding filament theory of muscle contraction. Muscles are dysfunctional if they are stretched for a prolonged period so that they are weak. Muscles are also dysfunctional if they are contracted for a prolonged period, causing muscle tightness. Muscles that are tight and stiff can restrict blood circulation, resulting in increased muscle fatigue and impede the muscle repair process and the ability to recover from exercises. All this can greatly increase the chances of injury. Length-tension relationships of muscles refers to the resting length of a muscle and the force the muscle can produce at this length. So, when a muscle fiber is stretched to the point of minimal overlap of the contractile protein myofilaments, the contraction force will be minimal. Similarly, when a muscle is shortened, contractile force will be weakened as well. We can now see how muscles can become dysfunctional and weak when they are either contracted or stretched for a prolonged period of time. Now, so much about the physiology of muscle contraction. Now let's have a look at the four functional roles of muscle contractions. Throughout the body, rarely does one group of muscle work without other muscles contributing, because movement occurs through a coordinated contraction of a number of muscles around the joint. Let's take a look at the example of a bicep curl. When your bicep contracts, your arm flexes. In this particular situation, the agonist or the prime mover is the biceps. The antagonist is the muscle opposing the agonist that relaxes during movement. In this case, the triceps is the antagonist for elbow flexion. A synergist contracts to assist the movement of the prime mover. In this particular example, the synergists are the brachialis and the brachioradialis. We will soon learn about how the synergist muscle of the lower back contributes to lower back pain. Fixators contract to stabilize the part of the body that remains fixed. This basically helps movement by opposing unwanted movement or by helping to stabilize the joint. In this case, the deltoids stabilize the shoulder when the arm moves. Reciprocal inhibition describes the process of muscles on one side of a joint relaxing to allow contraction on the other side of that joint. Through reciprocal inhibition, when one muscle shortens, its antagonist will always lengthen. If you have a muscle that is constantly shortened in a given context, the antagonist will be lengthened within that context. This is how tight muscles can inhibit the function of its counterparts. Now, we already know muscles work in groups because movement occurs through a coordinated contraction of a number of muscles around the joint. Now, to put it simply, if the prime mover doesn't contract properly, then the brain will look for alternative solutions to create the same movement, resulting in the synergist or the helper muscles taking over the role of the prime mover. This phenomenon is known as synergistic dominance. This is a temporary solution to ensure that the correct movement occurs, but the synergists are not designed to be the agonists, and they are less effective. Over time, this can lead to dysfunctional movement patterns and formation of trigger points in these muscles due to overexertion, which can result in injury and pain. Our bodies are very efficient and will adapt to any stresses that we place upon them. When these stresses are balanced, the body will remain balanced. Dysfunctions can start with muscle imbalances. For example, when you sit, your hip is in a flexed position and your hip flexors become tight, and the glutes, the antagonist of hip flexion, becomes inhibited through reciprocal inhibition. The glutes are primarily responsible for hip extension, that is moving your legs backwards. They are required to work when you run or walk. If your glutes are switched off, weak, or are not functioning properly, other helper muscles take over. Synergists such as the hamstrings, quadratus lumborum, erectus spinae, and piriformis substitute and become overactive. The formation of trigger points within this synergist muscle as a result of their overactivities is one of the most common causes of lower back pain. Of course, this is just a simplistic overview of what can happen with prolonged sitting. Let's take a look at the effect of poor postures on the muscles that attach to the lumbopelvic hip complex with the possible devastating consequences of recurrent lower back pain in the next video. Thank you for watching until the end. If you like this video, please click the like button. Please subscribe, share and comment. Please also hit the bell so that you will be notified of any new future video release. If you're interested in improving your health and fitness, and if you want to prevent lower back pain, please take a look at my book, which is now available from Amazon. Thank you.